to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well and that you're, moving into living life truly on your own terms. Thank you so much to every single person that has subscribed to this channel, and special shout out to our Patreon family. Thank you so much for supporting us, beloveds. In this week's, special message from the ancient ones, because, there's, I don't know if you're feeling it, but there is an increasing connection with the spiritual realm, especially at night in those hours when there's not much going on. There's so much that our beloved cosmic ancestors, our beloved bloodline ancestors are sharing with us at this time. And of course, the higher realm beings who many would call God or the Almighty, sharing so many things about everything that's happened. And one of the messages that the ancient ones really wanted me to deliver is the fact that only, the majority of our sacred knowledge, our sacred power, and our sacred information was hidden. Over 90%, beloveds. And that's why, there's been this vibe of like the vow of silence that the ancient ones took, that our ancestors took, where they did not pass on certain information to the next generations, but instead that message was encapsulated, if you want to put it like that, in our blood. Whereas, at a certain time, you can be awakened and you can naturally, come into that information and it can transform your life. Oh, sorry, guys. Wadada, my cat just came carrying a lizard and I'm not gonna cut, so oh my god. Anyway, that gave me a fright. Oh my gosh. So the vow of silence. That's one of the beauties of living, in the boondocks, beloveds. Anyway, let me get back to this. So the vow of silence, many of our ancestors, beloveds, died with the knowledge, died with the powers, but they are in the spiritual realm where they can give you those powers. And I'll definitely get into that in, later on in this episode. But it's very important that we understand that the Mzungu only got a hold of maybe 5 to 7% of our knowledge. That's all they got a hold of. The rest was buried way before they came for such a time as this, because, as Babylon falls, it is now time to restore this melanated, planet, our home, to restore our home, our kingdoms, with this new line that we've taken, with this experience that we've had, connecting with our spiritual family so that we can bring forth, the new, something that has never been seen. And so for the last 2,000 plus years, the crusaders of the universe, who have been, mainly a male energy, beloveds, that has been trying on this conquest to rule not just the world, but the universe, beloveds. They have been here for very sacred knowledge that many kingdoms, from the fire nations, the water nations, the air nations, and the earth nations, hid here. Because all of them, all these nations helped to seed this planet, and they all came, and continuously come for the great works of continuing to build this Eden, this, this very, very special home, beloveds. And so a lot of our knowledge was actually literally wiped and stored somewhere. And the only way to access this knowledge, level 1, is you have to have reached a level of purity within yourselves. which means that whatever you're speaking about, whatever you're ingesting through your mouth, through your ears, through your nose, is of the purest and most natural vibration. That means that even you've worked on purifying yourself from all the toxic thoughts and toxic energies and toxic foods. That's why the purification process is the most important process. But you have to have purified yourself to a certain level. And then you have to have melanin. Our ancestors weren't stupid, beloveds. They weren't idiots. And that's why even the Babylon scientists will tell you we're only using, 8% of our brain. Einstein used 5%. And, Einstein actually gleaned a lot of his, discoveries from the sacred texts that they were able to get from Egypt. But beloveds, that's just a fraction, not even a fraction, such a small percentage of everything that our people knew and experienced and created. And they just don't have access to that. And so if you study narcissism, because the enemy of our soul is a narcissist, beloveds, is a narcissistic trickster. And so if you study narcissism, it's like a narcissist will be like, if I can't have it, then nobody can. So if I can't get the power of this world, then I'm going to destroy this world and everything in it. And it's deep when we realize the vow of silence. It was not an easy thing for our ancestors to do, beloveds. To leave us, quote unquote, high and dry. In this age of forgetfulness, where we did not know ourselves. Was this a grand experiment that the past ones put us through? But all I know is the invasion was seen from so far. We're seers, beloveds. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience, which means we can see what's manifesting. And our ancestors were on a whole other level. Now, some say that the African kind of empire was already in decline, and that's why the Mzungu, was able to penetrate. I often feel that there was some kind of, battle between good and evil, and somehow that anchored this being to come in, and I think that is something we will know. It won't be hearsay, it won't be a narrative, but one day we will know. But we should rest assured, beloveds, that Babylon didn't get everything. They barely got anything. They have all these instruments of power that they've aligned to the east and put in this special thing and kept in these special temperatures, trying to wield that power. But they don't even understand how spirit works. Because our ancestors and the ancient ones, they would put spirit into things and pass that on. And then, so like, let's say the instrument of power, like the staff, that the chief or the king or the queen would carry. So every queen before her, who was a mighty magical being, because you didn't get to that leadership position without being highly skilled. Like they say, the Queen of Sheba was the highest level astrologer, highest level astronomer. And they were sun worshippers. Anyway, I'm not going to get too into that. But it was always the highest level, beloveds, that ruled the nations. And they would put their energy into the staff and into the golden seat they sat on. And so the energy would just accumulate the spirit. They'd leave part of their spirit there. But their spirit isn't ignorant. It's not now that Mzungu sits on the golden seat and all of a sudden the spirit of Queen of Sheba and all the queens before her suddenly start to, It can't work like that. They've tried to invade the world, beloveds, and it has failed. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki with a special message from the ancient ones. I think they really want us to understand and understand that a vow of silence was taken, where 95% of our sacred knowledge was hidden, beloveds, and it was hidden in the spiritual realm. So it's not something that is even accessible physically, and it was also hidden in our blood, in our DNA, beloveds, a lot of that knowledge. And it can only be unlocked if you have melanin, if you have done the necessary spiritual work, and with the help of the beloved ancestors in the spiritual realm. And they are the more highly advanced than these Mzungus, beloveds, and this, the enemy of our souls at this time, because the world is cyclical. So it's like almost like we went into what they call the dark ages. We're still in those ages, it's just ending. And now it's just like we went into a part of, I don't know how to describe this, but we went into a part of the universe that was so dark, so low vibrational, that certain entities could like hop onto the spaceship, like follow me, just, theoretically. See this as a conceptually, beloveds. So many spirits could now penetrate Earth, but we are getting out of that and we're coming back home. And so, and also, let me just mention this. When we were going through those quote unquote dark ages, the Kali Yuga, whatever you want to call it, our highly vibrational, beloved cosmic ancestors also couldn't reach us because we were, because they were vibing so high and we had been pulled so low. So they manifested ways where many were actually born, came as avatars, came as Christed ones, came as messengers to kind of keep our people uplifted, renew the vibration of our people, and, assist with the great movements that always renewed our people. So, avatars have been people like Marcus Garvey, beloveds, PLO Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah, many, beloveds, many, and they were just there to help us to keep that momentum going. But we have now entered the true season of our liberation, and so it's important for us to have that faith that we are so much more powerful, beloveds, than any power that we're seeing operating and manifesting now. Everything that the Babylon system has created, the Roman system has created, is mimicking our powers. The cell phone mimics our telepathy. And many, many other different instruments, The computer mimics our lower brain, the functions of this, It has eyes, it has ears, it can talk, like you can hear videos, etc., etc. It mimics this, but it's such a rudimentary, basic mimicking, beloveds. The God of this world that they have tried to create mimics the supreme being in each and every one of us. It has all been done to pull us out, and we feel an affinity to it. We feel a recognition to it because it is us. Because we know we could speak with people across the world. But it wasn't through we had our own technology then. But everything has been about us. Everything has been about mimicking us. And I just wanted to come on here today and say, don't lose faith, beloved. Start to see yourselves in the right perspective. They are using 5% of our powers to rule the world. And we're seeing the great crescendo. Maybe they have another like 3 or 4% of the secret knowledge that they've been even able to overstand and understand. And sadly, a lot of our people that we don't even know about have been tortured, raped, and killed so that they could reveal that hidden knowledge. But you see, everything is locked up. Everything is mental, beloveds. Nothing is forgotten. Everything is recorded. And you don't just stroll into a world and take it over. We saw them coming. Our ancestors saw them coming. And some of them weren't just Mzungus. Some of them penetrated our own races, beloveds, because it's a spirit. The Babylonian spirit, it's a spirit, beloveds. So they came as black people and they came as Mzungus. But they were not able to get what they came for. And now the spiritual rescue is underway. Our ancient ones are back. So many have been born at such a time as this. The original architects, the ones who were the keepers of this knowledge. And it's going to be such an amazing experience for us who were the seers and the spiritual teachers and the ones who did what people would consider, magic, which is more creation, the ones that really dabbled in creation, beloveds, to come back to ourselves and to those powers. And there will be many signs when that starts to happen. One of the first signs will be that people will start to live longer. Because let me tell you, anyway, I'm going to get into the age thing in a different episode, beloveds. But our ancestors took a vow of silence, beloveds. Not everything was given to the Mzungu. They're using such a fraction of our power. So rest assured, there is no way they win. So don't make sure they don't win you. Make sure they don't overcome you, because there's no way they can overcome this system. But they will try and trap your soul so that they can continue to use your energy in the falling Babylon matrix, because it will exist for as long as the minds are there to create it and keep it going. Because the first and foremost rule we need to understand is that the world is mental. So the Babylon matrix will perpetuate itself. It will get more of it will become more of a prison planet. For as long as the melanated minds continue to bow to that system, because that's what we're doing right now. Until next time. Tuko pamoja.